My name is Frank Ettawageshik. I am currently the Executive Director for the United Tribes of Michigan, and I was for 14 years the Tribal Chairman of Little Traverse Bay Bands of Odawa Indians in Michigan. I served for 20 years in the tribal government, either in elected or appointed positions. I've been out of office for about 4 years now, and I am now serving in the Executive Director position. My job is to convene meetings of the tribal leaders throughout the state on topics of interest, variety of interests that are dealing with land into trust and with the federal budget issues and some of the federal legislative issues, but in general things that involve good governance and long-term thinking of the future. So for a young person, I would tell them to be rooted in their tradition. Well, one of the things that I've learned, one of the elders taught me this, is that the most important things in life are usually not the things you reach out for, but they're the things that you fall backwards into. But you have to be prepared to be able to accept those things that you fall backward into. So you need to get certain basic skills. You need to work on communication skills. You need to work on, there's certain issues of character and ethics that you don't get just because you get elected. You really have to have those. You have to work on those. So some of the teachings, the traditional teachings that we have, such as one of our elders talks about the good and the bad, Emanading, Anjishin, and every day we make a choice. Well, those people that are going to be involved in leadership need to be people who have learned how to make those choices for those things that build, those things that strengthen the world, not to choose those things that lessen the world or harm yourself or others, either through overt acts or through acts of omission, for instance. So you build to be active in political life, and to be successful at it, you have to have a good, strong compass, a good, strong guide, and that guide comes from our traditional teachings. Basically, some of the people call it servant leadership, where the leader is not at the pinnacle. The leader is at the bottom, and I described it when I was the chairman. I had 4,000 bosses, okay? And you're the servant. And if you have that kind of an attitude, you are much more effective as a leader than if you have the attitude that I'm the boss and everybody's going to do what I say. And so that can get you in a lot of trouble in leadership virtually in any governmental service. That makes it more difficult for you. One of the things that I've worked on over the years is leadership training, the Building Strong Sovereign Nations training, which we worked with the Extension Service from the land-grant University, Michigan State, and we do training for newly elected or appointed tribal officials, so that each year we do a training to help them get the basics of leadership and tribal governance, such as we have introduction to tribal budgets, we have talking about the difference between foreign policy and domestic policy on a local level, that people think of foreign policy, you have to be overseas for that, but actually for tribal governments, foreign policy is working with the other tribes. It's working with the state or the feds. And so we have that sort of outward-looking thinking, and then we have the domestic policy issues that are in, and so it's really important to maintain a balance between those two. Everybody has a purpose, and there's a time, and your time may come and you won't know exactly when, but you need to prepare yourselves and be ready to say yes. And if you hesitate at that moment, or if you out of deference say, well, no, somebody else can do that, or somebody else ought to do that, or when it's your time, you'll know. And if you say no, or if you don't take that opportunity, then years later you may really regret that you didn't do it when you had that chance. And so what I found is that you need to prepare yourself, and then when the opportunity comes along, you need to embrace it and then do your best. And nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's the desire you have to do the right thing. It's to do the best of your ability to work for the people. That's when you know you're doing the right thing, when you're doing all that.